So, as you know, I believe we're living under a rock. No pun intended. But we've been bombarded with all this Atlas comet stuff, and I was making a video for you guys, and something came to me, an epiphany of sorts. So the Atlas comet was the inspiration, and this is what we're going to get in today. So for all those people out there who like to troll and are a snowflake, they say I don't provide anything for you, here's a quick clip. Hopefully that clip put a smile on all your faces. It did mine, it made me chuckle. So back to the video. So we're being bombarded with all this Atlas stuff, the comet. And that inspired me when I heard the Met bit to look at meteorites or meteors. And this is going to be like a spell etymology special on those. But while it gave me inspiration for that, I had an epiphany and I want to connect everything because I believe it's all connected to my cave theory, my chamber theory. So, Atlas was a titan condemned by Zeus to hold up the heavens, or the sky, or what's known as the celestial spheres, for eternity as punishment for his role in the Titanomic Sea, right? Tongue twister. Basically the war between the Titans and the Olympians. He often appears in art carrying a celestial sphere or globe, and his story features prominently in the myth of the hero Hercules. But some also say that in the Homeric poems and later artistic interpretations, you know that word again, interpretation, it's a Peter, it's a rock. They say he held up the pillars that separated the heavens and the earth. So are they trying to say, hey, we're actually in an enclosed system. We're in a cave, we're in a chamber, we're in a cell, because they're bombarding us with all this Atlas comet stuff. And I'm going to get into comets, but more specifically meteor, because something I found in that blew me away, and that is what gave me inspiration for this video. So let's move on. So he's talked about Atlas holding up the pillars, right, to the firmament or the celestial. But just look at the image on the left. You can see from most of these images, the pillars at the side, the L Evans, the pillars, the posts, the cave, the geo that I've been talking about. It's all connected. It's rock, it's crystal. I mean, just look at the word crystal. Crystal is a shortened form of variant of crystal. Now, a word derived from the ancient Greek meaning clear ice or rock crystal, which itself comes from krios, meaning frost or coldness. The root is a Proto-Indo-European word, the Pi root. Tongue twisters today for me, meaning hard or crust. So they're showing you we're in a crystal, we're in a geode, we're in a chamber. Now I look at crystal as the word Christ. Christ is phonetically the same. If you look, Christ, Christ, Christos, Christ. Christ Al, Christ El, Christ Elohim. Now people say, oh no, that doesn't say Christ. Christ is not a rock. Well, why did he always talk about it in Bible verses? I'll put a few on the screen for you today. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee. Neither is there any rock like our God. But Paul is spiritual. Doesn't mean he's a rock. Who says? And all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank of a spiritual rock which followed them, and the rock was Christ. He's telling you right there, God, rock, Jesus, all the same. For who is God beside Lord? And who is the rock except our God? So all this rock, all this crystal, it's all one and the same. Because it's a Peter, the rock. It's because we're in a cave. We're in a chamber. We're in a cell. Now, for some of you that's just joined or haven't seen it, the inspiration for all this, it was from the original first video that I did in this cave series. It's called the Spelletymology on Celestial, because that showed that the heavens, the celestial, that Atlas held up, was in fact a room, a chamber, a cell. So for you guys out there, I'm going to play that quick short clip from my celestial video just to get you in the zone, so you can hear the juices flowing through my head out loud. It'll blow you away, and you can see why I've included it, because this atlas is everywhere. Well, Atlas is holding up the firmament, the heavens. He's holding up the roof. We're in a cave because the cave is holy. So here's the vid now. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creatures was as the colour of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. So the original spelletymology of celestial didn't have any sound in regard to when the writing came on the screen. So I thought, you know what, I will do that now. So I'll add it to it basically. So as usual, I split the word up, and celestial became cel-esti-al. Intriguing, isn't it, when you just start breaking the words down differently for you? So cell, you could say cell phone, cell as a transparent sheet of celluloid or similar film material, which can be drawn on and used in production of cartoons and films. You also had a small room in which a prisoner is locked up, or which a monk or a nun sleep. So there's another tie to religion in that way. So then in biology, a cell is the fundamental unit of life. Now, cell, cella from Latin for small chamber, or naos from the Greek meaning temple, is the inner chamber of an ancient Greek or Roman temple in classic antiquity. So you can see temple, room, chamber, why the celestial, the heavens, got me so intrigued when you start looking that we live in a cave, in a chamber, in a room, in a cell. So Middle English cellar comes from cell, meaning storeroom or underground chamber. Wow, still gives me the chills today when I found this. So English word cellar comes from the Proto-Indo-European Union, which, remember, pi root, comes from Sahel English, meaning salt mine. That's a wow. So obviously we left with esti. Esti means star in some languages. Others it means host. In some it's said to be comparable to dropping an F-bomb. So that is from the video that I did, the breakdown of the word celestial. You can see why I'm intrigued, why it points to a cave, a chamber, a room, a cell. One of the most difficult things I find making videos is I talk too quick sometimes because I get excited and I want to share what goes on in this crazy mind with you folks. And sometimes I do go 100 mile an hour and it does come out quick, and I try and put captions in and different things. But I never want to apologise for being excited and sharing what goes on in this crazy mind. Like this video that we're talking about now. I have to give you a big spoiler. What we're going to see now is going to be slightly back to front. I'm going to show you all like the evidence in my head and then reveal the answer part way through at the end. Like, oh, look at that. Just because that's just how my mind works. It works back to front sometimes. And in this section, I want to share with you like an ancient cataclysm that's happened in this realm. Ancient petroglyphs carved into the rock and different things like that of a plasmeric type of reset. And that's the question, have people got it so wrong? I mean, I talked about this 4 or 5 years ago in an old video called Tempus Fugit, which means time flies. And that's also another clue to this scenario. And it's all connected with this atlas holding up the heavens, holding up the roof, the chamber, the roof of this, what we're living in. But could there be something else to it? So this is what you're going to get in this video. So everything's going to be in it. Cataclysm events, plasma, the vocal cords, and so on. And even in the middle of that, I'm going to bang in and show you an old video that I did on the spell etymology of the word plasma, because that's even connected to what I'm going to get at in this video and show you how could it all be connected and not be some hints at the truth in it. So what we're seeing now is that liquid crystal display that I showed you in that old video. And when we talk about meteorites and comets and things like this, I've always thought and theorized and talked about, could what meteorites be is just some stuff falling down from the firmament. So if we're in a cave or a crystal cave, a geode or whatever I've described in various videos, could it be that? Because look on the screen. That is a cross-section of the inside of a meteorite composed of iron and nickel and olivine or olivine. Does that not look like a liquid crystal? So, you know, again, could the stars be liquid crystal? You know, and that's even connected to plasma and so on. Because when we're talking about a Hollow Earth and King Kong's new series of videos where they go through portals and that, and it's like above, so below, that is a hint at the shape of this realm. It's all connected to Atlas. And when we have a cataclysm type of event, a huge reset, and they're talking about mud floods and liquefaction and the 7 trumpets and 7 angels from Revelation, here's an image of what is known as sand boils or a sand blow or a sand volcano. So when the earthquake waves hit the sand, the dirt, it turns it to liquid. And at the top, they sometimes create, as you can see above, they're called sand volcanoes. So when cars disappear, houses, buildings disappear, and people talk about mud flood, could this reset that I'm going to get at and the deliverance of it and what happens? It's like basically your levels are slipping down. The levels of this realm are falling down. It's like they're being sucked below. So, I mean, just look at the images that I'm sharing with you on the screen. Sand volcanoes at the top and volcanoes at the bottom. Could volcanoes be an actual result of ancient sound, plasma, earthquake, waves type of event? This event that I'm talking about in this video, because I believe it's all connected, and that's why I'm excited. That's why I talk too quick and why I get giddy. I mean, researchers, even like this past week, have confirmed that sound waves can manipulate plasma and create levitating light spheres in the lab. So when I see that, I see Atlas. I also see the sun in our sky, because it's enclosed and it's a local light source. So if plasma can be a both cataclysm type of event and also good, is that what in an enclosed system light is created? One of the methods using this plasma, as you can see on the screen. I've even put a little link above that saying plasma isn't inherently sound, but sound waves can travel through plasma, and plasma itself can create sound. When rapidly expanding gas generates pressure waves as seen in lightning plasma speakers, while sound behaves similarly in plasma as in gas. Special waves like Alven waves can also occur in magnetized plasma. So sound, plasma, in an enclosed system is all connected. And just remember, it talks about how plasma can create sound. Where do you see even the etymology of plasma says it talks about that. It talks about that very, very thing, and that it just absolutely blew my mind. It talks about how is it the full direction, and I'm going to put the clip in it for you now, but it talks about how plasma is a modulation of the voice. So in this, which I'll get to after this clip, because what I'm going to show you now is the breakdown, the Spelletymology video that I did on plasma and actually matrix. It was a bonus, so that's what I'm going to share with you now, guys. I'm just going to look at the word plasma for a Spelletymology video and see if me just looking at plasma in my own way will help or give something new to this information. So here goes, guys. We're looking at the word, here we go,
plasma.
So noun, plasma, noun, plasm, the colourless fluid part of the blood, lymph or milk, in which corpuscles or fat globules are suspended. Second one, an ionised gas consisting of positive ions and free electrons in proportions resulting in more or less no overall electric charge, typically at low pressures as in the upper atmosphere and in the fluorescent lamps, or at very high temperatures as in stars and nuclear fusion reactors. A substance analogous to ionized gas plasma consisting of mobile charged particles such as molten salt or the electrons within a metal. A bright green translucent variety of quartz used in mosaic and other decorative purposes. Another term for cytoplasm or protoplasm. Now the origin, Greek plasein, to form or mould. Now when we think of plasma, we don't think of that, do you? To form or mould. We have been moulded in God's image. Greek plasma, anything formed or moulded, image, figure. I never would have pictured plasma as that. I've always associated it with the ionized gas, lightning, etc., and obviously being in blood. Plasma, modulation of the voice. Creature, poetic fiction. Wow, the voice. You know, I've always talked about the voice of God, the vocal cords. God used his voice to form us, supposedly to that creation story. Plasma at the end, pot or vessel. Mid-16th century, a pot or a vessel. A vessel is anything that contains a liquid, you know, it's stored in it. But I was always could assume also a vessel is to hold, to store something. And it just takes me back to my theory that we're living in a room, a cave, that type of scenario. It's crazy, isn't it? So from the mid-16th century, in the sense, pot or a vessel. From Latin, modulation of the voice, creature, poetic fiction. From Greek, plasma, anything formed or moulded, image, figure. From plasein, to form or mould. That blew me away, that. So that is what they say
plasma
is. So obviously, do not take what is going to be said next as fact. It's just my opinion on what I look into and the splitting of words, and I just want to see if I can find anything cool. So here goes. Let's see if what I find is cool. So as always, as you can see on the screen, it says plasma. I always like to split it up 2-3 times sometimes. And in regards to today's video on spell etymology, I'm splitting it up twice. So you can see on the screen plasma and underneath plas and ma. Those are the two words that I'm going to look into for this. And this threw up a few surprises. You're actually going to get a bonus, yay, bonus stage, a bonus spell etymology in with this. So let's proceed. So the etymology, and again, don't take this as fact, guys, this is just what I found. We all might find different things, but let's proceed. The etymology of plas depends on the specific language and context. In Welsh, plas, plural plaso, means hall or mansion. Like I've been talking about the room again. The room, the cave that we live in. Room, hall or mansion, often referring to a manor house. It can also refer to an open space, similar to place. In Dutch, plas means pool or puddle. In some languages, plas means or may be derived from Proto-Indo-European roots, the pi root, the pirate, related to tearing, rendering, while in others it may relate to spreading or moulding, which we actually talked at the beginning, a part of that. So let's proceed again, getting tongue-tied again because I'm excited. What a surprise. So ma, we've done plas, now ma. The etymology of ma depends on the specific meaning. As an adjective, it's clipped from a form of major, appearing in the late 1700s. As a noun, it can have different origins. One meaning, it's clipped from a clip form of master, the late 15th century, while another is a borrowing from German for specific measurement in the 1920s. Additionally, ma can be an affectionate term for a mother, a natural sound in baby talk, or a term of address for an older woman. So, plasma could mean the room, the house of thy mother, the master's room, the master's house, and also tearing, rendering, moulding of or by the mother or master. And you could also say we are moulded in our mother or master's image. Now, what is ironic and weird, and we always talk about this realm, and well, we don't well, we do, but we don't talk in the sense of we believe it's a Baal or a Baal, as people say. So when we're talking about master in regard to ma, it's funny that the Semitic word Baal means owner or master, was also used in ancient religions for form of lord or god, and is still defined as a Canaanite or Phoenician deity. Among the greatest of the Semitic people's deities were Baal and Astarte, both symbols of fertility. So again, we've just mentioned mother or master's moulding, rendering, mouldering, or by the mother or master. And we can find Baal in there because that is another term used for Baal. So this is where it gets intriguing, and where we're going to go into the second part of this video, because it's both connected. That plasma is also known as matrix. That really tripped me. And as you can see on screen, the non-living component of our blood is known as the extracellular matrix, called plasma, and it makes up 55% of our blood composition and makes blood unique among connective tissue because it is fluid. Our plasma and matrix are the same. It consists of a fluid matrix known as plasma and in some form elements. Plasma constitutes nearly 55% of the blood. Plasma is a straw-coloured viscous fluid forming matrix of the blood. Matrix is the ground substance of a tissue, a non-living substance occupying space between the cells. And another question that people ask, why is plasma called the blood matrix? Though it may seem counterintuitive, blood is by definition a connective tissue. It's made up of cells and cellular constituents blended into an extracellular matrix or ground substance called plasma. Because plasma is a liquid, blood is sometimes referred to as the fluid connective tissue. So you have that connection between blood and matrix, and we all talk about we're living in a matrix, and now obviously it's now connected. I didn't know I don't know why I didn't know, is plasma and matrix are one in the same. So that got me thinking, well, I've just broken down plasma, why don't I just break down matrix too? So matrix can be split by me, and it can be differently for all of us, ma and trix. So what does this reveal? And it blew my mind. So obviously we've done ma, which can be master, it can be mother. We've done that already. So that leaves tricks. And not like a magic trick. Well, it is a magic trick of creation, but tricks as matrix. And the suffix trix originates from the Latin and is the feminine counterpart. There's a dual nature here, the feminine counterpart. Remember, the blood, the plasma makes up 55, right? So male and female, 5 and 5 is 10, which is just 1. So the female 1 and the male another 55, another 1. There is your 11. But 11 is the door. And if we look at this, the counterpart to the masculine tor. Tor means gate or door or large doorway, opening or passage in a fence or a wall. I nearly swallowed my words then. Wow. So the master or lord or the mother's gate or door, or it could turn in the fabric of this reality. We're coming from one reality through the door, through the arch, into this. Wow. So you now know the etymologies for plasma and matrix. But let's just carry on here. It says the masculine tor, it's used to form feminine nouns or adjectives that correspond to ancient nouns ended in tor, like executrix or aviatrix. The suffix can also be used in geometrical terms such as directrix. Just blew me away. That has just blew me away. Now you're talking about the matrix, and obviously what we saw about plasma, about being in a room, being in a cave, being in a being I've just lost my train of thought. Being in a room, a cave, and then obviously when we're born and we're in a vessel. It just blew me away. And think about it, matrix in the Bible is mentioned a few times, but it's a Hebrew word rechem, which means womb. So there we go, guys. You can see it all connects. Matrix is a translation of the Hebrew word rechem, meaning womb, and openeth is Peter, the rock, but also father. Ionos pater, Janus father. You can just see why all these things seem to connect. Dog, God of doors. I get tongue-tied when I get excited, so I do apologise. Meaning that which first opens. So the phrase means that which first opens the womb. In other words, the mother's firstborn. Wow. And obviously I've been talking about vessel. I have talked about it not long ago in the video. A vessel can be a ship, a container for holding liquids, or a tube that transports blood throughout your body. Vessels have a number of different meanings, yet all of them relate to somewhere to liquids and transportation. Look at the womb, a baby in the womb. That is being transported. And it's coming through the matrix. Wow. And obviously, what do you call a room in a ship? A cabin or berthing? Is an enclosed space generally on a ship or an aircraft. A cabin which protrudes above the level of a ship's deck may be referred to as a deck house. So guys, there is my quick spell etymology of the word plasma and what great things I found of that, and then regarding that switch to matrix. Wow, can you not get so many wows in a short video, and it's just blew my mind. It's just opened my eyes to looking or re-looking at words that you sometimes just overlook. So just look at the significance of plasma and matrix now in regard to what I've just showed you. Wow. So here we go now. We're getting to the crux of my theory, and you might be still, well, you're still not showing us. Well, here we go. The time has finally arrived, no pun intended. So, our lives are but specks of dust, falling through the fingers of time, like sands of the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. Now that's a clue for what you're going to see and the shape, the possibility of this realm that we live in. Because you know, for years now, I've been talking about cave within a cave. And I've showed you geodes in the last video. But what if the shape of the cave is like an hourglass? Now that's surely getting you thinking. You're like, whoa, where are you going with this? Just take a look. So we've got this tempus fugit, which is Latin for time flies. Now, Freemasons had it for a long time as one of their main symbols, but it's gone out of fashion of sorts. It used to appear on graves, stones, you name it, it was there. But let's look at the atlas and an hourglass at the side. Tell me, it's not just me seeing things like pareidolia. Do you not see the hourglass shape in Atlas? He's holding up the sands, the earth, the heart. Remember, earth, an anagram of earth is heart. So he's holding up the heart. It's mind-blowing. And remember that video, the spelletymology of plasma, about the room and so on. But the official etymology was form, mould, modulation of voice. Remember, plasma, modulation of voice. Pot or a vessel. Is a time glass, hourglass, not a vessel for the sands of time? Us? It is, isn't it? Intriguing, is it? But this modulation of voice is key, because I'm talking about how was a great reset happened. How did the frequencies that caused mud floods and this liquefaction happen? Well, I've always talked about, in my videos, it's called the secret of the vowels. It's called the vocal cords, the voice of God. Now, I believe the voice of God, or the vocal cords, appeared in the sky. Here's the larynx, the voice box. Now, go on, guys. Try and be objective. If people can show you videos of, hey, doesn't this look like that? So it's got to be that. So why can't I do the same principle? Go on, I want you to look at that larynx there and tell me that is not nigh on identical, the same shape as Atlas holding up the celestial. Remember, he's holding up the ceiling. You can quite see it on the left. The larynx is identical. Absolutely nigh on identical. So you put them all three together. The larynx, Atlas, and the hourglass. To me, that is one in the same shape. So what can this be? So picture the hourglass a little bit different, guys. Then you might start to picture it in your head, in your mind's eye, a little bit better. Picture the hourglass shape with this realm inside. And I've put an image on the right so you can get it. To me, that is what's happening. There is an event that's happening, like the in Revelation, it talks about the 7 angels and the 7 trumpets. And it got me thinking, well, look at the tempus fugit. It's got the angel wings. Is there an event that happens that these sounds, these frequencies, these trumpets get played, and the realm, the earth, gets sucked down below into the next level, just like the hourglass? It's crazy, isn't it? Just picture that in your head, because now I want to tie in a symbol that is used for a plasmeric type of catalytic, whatever you want to call it, event, apocalyptic event, and it will blow your mind. And I've been talking about this for years, showing this, and not put it all together as a package. So what's this ancient apocalyptic event that happened that you keep talking about? Well, as you can see on the screen, is what is known as the Squatter Man. Now, Everyone is theorised that millennia ago, whoever, beginning of time, I don't know what time period it is, the squatter man appeared. It was a symbol that appeared in the sky. Now, a lot of the indigenous tribes all around this realm painted on, the cave walls, the same image. And I've just put a few on the screen. So you can see across the world, they paint the same thing. So something happened, something appeared in the sky that freaked everyone out, that they had to basically draw it onto cave walls to show you that something happened. Now, a while ago, many years ago, a guy called Anthony Peratt did some plasma experiments in his lab, and he produced the same pattern. You can see it on the top right, and it's nigh on identical to the squatter man. So an event happened, the squatter man appeared in the sky. People then have talked about how it was a plasma reset, mud flood, etc., and it quite possibly be. But when you've watched this video so far, you talk about the shape of this realm being an hourglass. I've showed you Atlas, the hourglass, the same shape. Let's put them all together. The squatter man, the plasmaric shape, Atlas, and the hourglass. Remember, you can also put, yep, you got it, the vocal cords, the larynx in it. They are one in the same, guys. And this is the epiphany I had. I've been making videos on the squatter man and the reset and the shape of this realm. It must be over 4 or 5 years ago. And now when I've started talking about this cave realm that we live in, the geode, underground, the hollow earth, cave within a cave, and the Atlas just made me, the Atlas comet just made me look at it something differently. And I think, yeah, I can see an hourglass shape. So we're talking about a reset's happened. So this squatter man symbol appeared in the sky. Could it have been a reflection of the realm, as above, so below? Was it this plasmaric event? Remember the plasma? Modulation of voice is the etymology of plasma, and this vessel. So when this sound appeared, is that why they started to put the angel wings on? Because it was like attributed to the tribulation and revelation and the end times. And this sound started and made the world slip down a level, go through the hole. It just blew me away, this. And even that ardent troll cannot see I'm basing it just on, mad, crazy theories. But it seems to connect. It seems to paint a picture in the mind's eye that, whoa, I could be onto something. Because this plasmaric event, the squatter man, the hourglass, Atlas, it's all the same shape. The larynx, everything. So what I've been talking about for years now, I can make into one video. And coming up next is I'm going to use so-called science to prove that maybe I'm not as crazy as it sounds. Right, guys, so what I'm going to show you now is something crazy. And it really blew me away. I was ready to finish and talk about the spelletymology for meteor, the meteor or meteorite. And I went, damn, right. I remember these images. So what you're seeing on the screen are two so-called photographs taken from the Saturn in the 60s. I don't know when the SA3 was taken, but SA7 was taken in 1968. And it's basically supposedly a photograph taken above the North Pole. And you can see no ice and nothing. It's just like a big gaping hole. So they're either censoring that area and wiping whatever was found in that area from the images. So you got these images like a retraction type of thing on a document. Or what they took was genuine and there was a hole there. Now, you could say it's no clouds. You could say it's a hole in the ozone layer. That agenda they tried to pass years back. But if you go off these photographs, there's a hole there, right? So people then talk about, this is proof that the earth is hollow earth theory, and it kicks off again. Now I'm talking about us being in a geode, in a cave within a cave, or a room, or a chamber, or a cell, whatever you want to call it. And if you look at this hollow earth theory, the earth is hollow and we are inside it. I'm just visualizing it as a cave within a cave because that's what the evidence I've researched points 2. But if we are in like an hourglass shape and it has a function of an hourglass, and I'll put that hourglass back up, you can see when like this plasma reset happened. Well, what people talk about a plasma reset could have just been the modulation of the voice, and that was like the cymatics pattern. And when the reset happened, it could have been when they wiped most of the giants out, or it just could be the fact that it showed a reflection of this realm, as above, so below. That's what blew me away, because as above, so below fits the hourglass model to a T. So when I talk about an hourglass model, it's like people are picturing us living in a physical hourglass. I'm just talking about a setup where we're in an enclosed system and has a hole in the bottom to drain through the levels and levels and levels. Because you've seen it in mud flood, you saw them in all these places where they get buried and the liquefaction happens. I showed you about the evidence, could earthquakes cause this liquefaction, and that's what a volcano is. You saw everything. You saw the squat man. So the squat man could be like the vocal cords pattern that I'm trying to get at, or Atlas, like I was showing you, fits the hourglass. So if I magnify the top and point, what do you see? Well, when you're in an hourglass and the sand or whatever you have in the hourglass releases to the bottom, it creates a funnel effect, as you can see, and a hole right in the centre. What do we see on the screen? And them SA photographs, but a hole at the centre. This gives me the chills, and I know it sounds crazy. You know what I mean? I'm just spitballing here, throwing things out. And if people can throw things out and spitball and say all kinds of shit, why can't I join the club and say all kinds of shit? But this fits. This is plausible. Doesn't mean it's actual. But hey, this is my channel. I want to get this idea out, and us in this just makes sense. And I'd love to see what you guys think on this. But to me, it's like a slam dunk. I got a wow. If them SA images are right and there's a hole there, well, how could a hole become but a sinkhole? But if land or the dirt or the earth beneath us is drawn away, it creates that type of effect. I want to see what you guys think on that. Right, guys, I'm going to show you that old clip. I'm a bit younger. I've got a few more darker hairs in the beard. But I wanted to show you because I wanted to show I was talking about this sort of years ago, but from a different perspective. I hadn't researched about the cave within a cave then, but I was just talking about the same thing really that I was talking about in this. So I just want to give you a heads up on it and add to it a little bit before you see the clip and think what's going on here. So it is an old clip. I'll put old clip on it so you're aware if you just turn it in. Oh, he's changed. So as you can see on the screen, I think this is Dante's Divine Comedy by Botticelli. And in that video, I talk about the layers of hell. But as you know, we talk about as above, so below a lot. And well, just let's look at actually what as above, so below actually says. So is it quod est superius est sicut quod inferius est quod inferius est sicut quod est superius. So that which is above is like to what which is below, and what which is below is like to what which is above. So come on, guys, when I'm talking about this hourglass, and this is, Dante's, and they're talking about the layers of hell, just picture layers of the earth, and when these resets happen, we go through the hourglass. Now, if I put Dante's and split it up into two, you'll get the gist a little bit more. As you can see on the screen, I've put the same image and I've doubled it, I've mirrored it. So what shape do you see now when I put above, so below to Dante's hell? You get the hourglass shape. So you can see why I'm excited and blown away about it. It just intrigues me so much when you just listen. we're just spitballing. So if anyone's wondering what is the blue bit, in a sense, if you don't look into it, you won't know. But in fact, it's in that blue zone. It's Lucifer, and as you know, Lucifer can mean many things to light and so on and so on. So that could just be the zone that we're in, or when we're looking at this above so below, and the hourglass, have we slipped into hell, into purgatory, to Sheol, the land of the dead? And there'll be a few more things on that when I get to it. But while we're here on this, before the video clip, a lot of people are talking about the magnetic field flipping, and should we be worried? I mean, there's articles everywhere on it. Just think about it, the poles shifting, or how they word it, flip. You can flip an hourglass, and what happens? But the sands go to the bottom. Is this the case of what happens? We get a flip and a layer goes down. I don't know. I talk about it briefly in this clip that you're going to see now. Remember, it's an old clip. Right guys, so what you're seeing here, you should be seeing me in a little box in amongst the pictures, and you just saw Dante's Inferno, that we all know it. But I've had this long-standing theory for years, and I mean years, I can't remember how long it is. And I've always designed different layouts of this realm, just because I love to theorise, and I love to brainstorm, and I love to share ideas to see what triggers. You know, to trigger something in us, and there's good and there's bad triggers. Now what you also should be seeing is various pictures of gravestones and the hourglass with the wings, because obviously we have a fascination with time. Maybe it's bred into us, maybe it's just who we call the man controlling the time. We are slaves to time. Does time even exist? Is it a man-made construct? Is time emit from us, as I've taught in many videos? But what you can also see is a little drawing of an hourglass that I've just designed for this video, and it has heaven above, so many layers of heaven above, and so many layers of hell below. And this is what I'm going to try and get at this video, to amalgamate all theories to see if this idea works. Listen, it could be a load of bollards, as I say. Yes, there's nothing wrong with thinking and trying to share ideas, because you don't know what it'll hit in someone who will break the mould, as they say, and help, you know, more and more people. So this is what we're here to do. We're here to think and share ideas and see what sticks and see what slides off. But in the idea of my theory is that we have our realm in the middle, in the neck, as they say, of the hourglass. Hell below, heaven above. Now, maybe in times when we sin too much, or there's too much evil, you know, I'm just trying to theorise in this video that at certain times when the trumpets go or the hourglass shakes, we lose a layer, it goes down. And because we're seeing, you know, Roman, we're seeing different layers of civilization, you know, preserve cities under towns. And I'm just wondering, does this what happens? Yes, the hourglass could be you know, symbolic or metaphorical. I mean, it's so weird that we have layers in skin. Our epidermis has different layers of skin. The heavens, the sky has different layers of atmospheres. So does the soil. So in this theory, this is what I'm just trying to get at in this video. I mean, you think about it, we have people who believe in, you know, mud flood and melted mountains, buildings. What they're trying to escape from. If you know the ground is going to give away and swallow you up, you'd want to get onto something hard or higher up. You know, not just from below. You got the alternate. You have what is coming from above. They're trying to get away from in dumbs. So is it the vice versa? If you are good, you're trying to get away from evil, go down to hell. And if you are evil, you're trying to get away from the heavens coming down and going below. It's just ironic, isn't it? And this is what I'm trying to get in this video. Our fascination with time, the hourglass. We also have obviously memento mori, which means remember that you have to die. And even secret societies have lost the symbology of the hourglass with the wings without. You even get it with skulls and crossbones and its association with that. So this is just a lifetime's excitement wanting to come out in a video, and you might laugh. And listen, I get that all the time anyway, but you don't progress. These same people that call you are the same people that'll still be there in 10 years' time going the same old things out of the mouth. You have to talk about things to progress. People don't even realise what right and wrong is. What is the truth? The truth is personal, it is you, but it also can trap you. That's why it has rut in it. So, you know what I mean? Truth does not necessarily mean it's fact. And this is what we have to get in the community. That's why you have gatekeepers putting out false information. Well, it's all information, and that's why I do not get triggered in a bad sense, meaning the spell. So in this video, you were just going to get me theorising, showing these what ifs. What's the fascination? How come this hourglass goes back to ancient times? Is it because that is what we're in, or is it all metaphorically or metaphoric? You know, I am not steadfast. I do not say this is a fact, but I'm so excited about everything I'm tying into this, and it just makes sense. And you will see, hopefully, what I'm seeing, and you will go, wow. So I'm just about to do the spell etymology for meteor, or meteorite, how you want to pronounce it. And I know, I try and predict, some of you guys in the chat will say, hey, that hourglass looks like this shape here, it looks like this shape. So in the original Tempest Fuji video, I did briefly talk about this, I think. I'm not going to watch about the full video. Or, as I'm researching it, I came up with that. I don't know, I'll just go with the flow. So have a look. You have the electromagnetic field of the heart at the top. You have like the vortex in the electromagnetic field at the bottom, the little picture. You have the torus field, and you have what they say is basically the electromagnetic field of this earth. So, come on you people out there, come on, be honest. What shape do all of them take? Come on, it's not hard. It is hidden in plain sight, as above, so below. It is, yes, the hourglass. The squatter man, the vocal cords, the vortex of the larynx. I'm just blown away. And there is a group out there, they call themselves Extinction Rebellion. Let's have a look at their logo. Oh, what a coincidence. It's the hourglass. And some of you be screaming, yes, 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 but extinction, time running out, they're going to use the hourglass. Exactly. But this is the point of the video, the hourglass shape. You can even say affinity symbol. You know, I talked about that in Tempest Fuji, I know for sure. But some of you out there know I research a god called Janos or Janus. He is the god of this realm. They're the one they worship. They pray to him first before any other god. I've shown you that in my videos. He has a cosmological model named after him. Should we have a look at that? And again, this is in the old video. Oh wait, looks familiar. We'll turn it on its side. Oops, another hourglass. There's like something's hidden in plain sight. So you can see why I get excited and just why I have to share all this with you guys. Again, don't take it as fact. It's just me spitballing. It's me coming up with a theory, trying to show you, hey, I see this pattern there, and see what you guys think of it. I'm just blown away. It can't be a coincidence. There's no such thing as a coincidence, people say. So why do all these electromagnetic fields produce the same shape? Is it because they take the form of the basically enclosed system that they are in? Who knows? So I want to get to my spell etymology now at long last. So I'm making a spell etymology bit now, and I've had to remake it 6 or 7 times because I'm still in shock for what I've found. A good shock, I think. Do you know when you get the hair on the back of your neck, or an epiphany, or a aha moment? And I go, whoa, is this shit real? Am I seeing it? Is this pareidolia? Have I gone nuts? Have I taken this? Is it a stretch? All this has gone over my head. And I'm going to reveal all and see where the pieces lie and see what sticks. Like I said, so if I come across a bit still dumbfounded, it's because of what I found. Some may not get it. I'll try my best to show it you. Hopefully you get it. So let's start with the etymology of comet, because remember, that was the inspiration. I was being bombarded in my news feeds and different things of this Atlas comet, and I'm like, well, why have they call it Atlas if it's a comet? Well, Atlas was holding up the heavens, and you see what I've got from that. So that's the inspiration. So the video wasn't about a comet of sort, but it was the catalyst. So comet is from the term coma, as you can see on the screen. It means also long-haired star. So you get that, don't you? The trail of a comet, the ice and so on, it looks like long hair. So that's where they've got it from. And the word comma meaning her. But when you say coma with a K and with an E, it does phonetically sound like coma. It does, doesn't it? I mean, that's what I went to. So let's look at the word coma. And as you can see, it did originally have a K. The term coma has multiple origins depending on the context, from the Greek, meaning deep sleep, which is the root of the medical term coma, and in Japanese it means foal, African means horse, and so on. So nothing standoutish. So I wanted to break the word down into two, co-met. And because that inspired me then to go look into meteor and meteorite. So co originates from the Latin word com, which means come, meaning with, together, or joint, and is used in English to denote participation, shared action. Basically, you're getting the jiggy on. And the word et most commonly means and also, this is strange things, it can mean the verb to eat, and also means small one or group. So you get into a few things and you're like, yeah, it's intriguing, but it's not what stands out. So that made me then want to look at the word meteor. So that's just when it went crazy. So are you ready? I wasn't. So the word met, because I broke it down into 2s and 3s, and sometimes different. I broke it down so many ways. I'll go through it. So the word meti, has 2 main etymological roots. It means to measure, comes from the Old English metan, the Proto-Germanic metana, and pyru, or pyra as I say, med, meaning to measure. Also in the noun, it means a boundary or a goal. That's where it starts to get me. We're talking about a comet or a meteor, and met means boundary. We're talking about a boundary, the heavens, the celestial, which means like the chamber, the room, and that's the roof. So that started to get me going. And obviously a third distinct word, meta, meaning food. So you got a few things there, and it also means to drip. So most of you will know from Meta, that was basically the new Facebook. It got rebranded in 2021, and Meta is basically, it means dead, and it's a feminine form of meta, also means dead, which is why Facebook's rebranding to it in 2021 drew mockery in Israel because it sounded like the Hebrew word for dead. So you got meteor or meteor, and the or basically means either or out or up. So before I go into the meta and stuff and playing that, let's look at some of the meanings of meteor so far. You could have the boundary of the dead, the food of the dead, or the boundary of the dead is up or out. So that painting weird shit, isn't it, in your head? Are we in Sheol? Because I've been talking about that lately. Could the roof, the basement's floor, because we're on different levels, did it the angels trumpet sound? Did basically the squatter man symbol, remember the throw, the voice box, and a blasphemous event happened, what people think, but in fact it was just basically a shaking or a turning upside down of the hourglass, and we fell down a level. Did we fall through to the land of the dead? That's intriguing, isn't it? For sure. I mean, let's have a look at the symbol for the Facebook Meta. Oh wait, Paul, it's just an accident that it looks like the infinity symbol. It looks like an hourglass, like a squashed hourglass. That's just a coinky-dink. So you can see how I'm like, whoa. So you can see how everything is connecting. So briefly, I have to put it in because it'll lead you up to what I wanted to show. So I'm going to show you a little clip of my video I made many years ago on the Meta. And I made a symbol from the Meta and Facebook. Basically, quick spoiler, it's a Leviathan cross. So I'll show you that briefly and then I'll come back to it. And I'm going to theorise about what the symbology of it can be. Now, most of us have seen the cringeworthy advert that he did for it, picking different avatars. I mean, I've slowed it right down here now so you can see the difference. I mean, there is more. There's a skeleton one here with fire at the side. More on that in a minute. Now, he eventually chooses a replica of himself. But we know it's all tied to transhumanism, AI, like I've just said. And what we found not long after it was released, people were actually talking about what Meta actually means. But Zuckerberg actually says that the word meta comes from the Greek meaning beyond, and it symbolises that there is always more to build. Yet no one in the firm this thought about, well, say what does it mean in other languages? And then it came out that meta in Hebrew means dead. I mean, who would have that as a brand name? It's crazy. So meta means dead or death in Hebrew. So I was thinking, and I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks, could there be more to it? Now, there's Facebook logo at the top and the Meta at the bottom. Let's change the top to just the Facebook F. Are we getting what the logo could be, or the cult symbol could be now? Let me get rid of the Meta. Now you have the Facebook F and the Meta or infinity or Ubros underneath. We know they love to reverse things and mirror things. So just as Zuckerberg is looking back at his AI self, his simulation, you have the two Facebook Fs together. But it's still not clear enough. So let me make it more crisp and just put two Fs back to back. Is there anything coming to you guys now? Let me put in a black infinity symbol underneath. Now what you're seeing, are you getting it? This is what's known as the Leviathan cross or Satan's cross. It's also the symbol for sulfur, and it's the cross of Lorraine. Now obviously sulfur, and have you got the one I made on the left, and the cross of Lorraine or the Leviathan or the Satan's cross on the right. To me, they are one in the same. It's not much difference considering I've just made it up. As we know, Anton LaVey basically adopted the symbol for the Satan's cross in the 60s. So think about it. Hell. What image do you get in your head? You get fire, brimstone, sulfur, death. And that's the image we've all been brought up for. Hell. Well, look, skeletons in hell there. Well, what was Zuckerberg got in his little video on Metaverse? He had his, AI self next to a fire pit. Why did he need the fire pit? Remember, he had a skeleton, just like the image I'm portraying underneath. And in the advert as well, he had barbecue sauce on the shelf. Barbecue? What's he barbecuing? So there you have the crude rendition that I did. You have the two Facebook Fs on top of the Meta logo. Then you had the crisper one to actually show you more, better in detail, how much alike it is to Satan's cross, the Leviathan cross, the symbol for sulfur, and obviously the cross of Lorraine. Now you tie that in with the fire pit, the skeleton at the side, the barbecue sauce that didn't need to be on the shelf, and everything else. Met meaning dead. So dead, hell, you can see where I'm coming from. So guys, I may start raving crazy. So let's carry on. So those are symbols that you saw on what I made, and I've given you my explanation. They also look like a key, don't they? That's just some of the things that I get at. So we're talking about meta and meteor, all these things, and I made this back in the day, and it's basically brimstone, sulfur. It's even a symbol for internal fire of the soul. But all these places like sulfur, etc., and Leviathan are all associated with hell. And I'm just talking about us being Sheol, or a purgatory, or hell, or whatever people want to look at it. My mind's blown, but it doesn't end there. So a few years back, I was on my 11 kick. And if you put on the screen hell and heaven, because that's what we're talking about, aren't we? The heavens, celestial, Sheol, and other layers of hell below. So the etymology for the letter H was, it reminds me of a door. So we always look at the gates of heaven and the gates of hell. Why do they have both gates? And if we're in an hourglass type of scenario, in a geode, and there's hell and heaven above and below, as above, so below, that I've mentioned so many times. That blew me out. So let's look at the symbols I've just showed you in that video and on the screen and put them on the side. What do you see? You see the hourglass, obviously, and you see the 11. Well, if you take the H off hell and heaven, you get 11. And that blew me way back in the day, because hell and heaven, 11, and in gematria also comes to 11. So are we talking about us being in the realm of 11, the realm of the elves, or is it the 11th, basically, revelation? Have we had 11 of these resets? Who knows? But just look at the symbols on the side. So I thought, you know what? No, should I try something? I had another aha moment. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to type in verse 11:8 and see what I find. And this is, guys, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. So these are the things I got on. Doesn't it not sound like things I'm talking about? So 11:8, it was by faith that Abraham obeyed when God called to him, the voice of God, to leave home and go to another land. Guys, and we're talking about the voice of God, the modulation of the voice, the squat man symbol, the hourglass. I'm talking about a reset, trebile, whatever it's called, that end times happen. And the verse that spells out what I've made with Facebook and Meta and the Leviathan cross, it tells you of Abraham obeying God when he called him to go to another land. Is at another level. Did they slip through? Did they go in the caves, within the caves? Just like Adam and Eve went to the cave of treasures. I'm shaking. So let's carry on. So when God called him to leave home and go to another land that God would give him as his inheritance, he went without knowing where he was going. Hebrews 11:8. So forget that with what I made looking like a key and the Leviathan cross put it on the side, and I'm asking, hey, is it a verse in the Bible? And that's what I get. I'm shaking. I'm buzzing. I'm so excited. I'm like, whoa. So I thought, you know what? Is there anything else I can find? So the next one I found was Job 11:8. And I did not extensively go for this. I'm going to show you in a sec. Let's see what it says. They are higher than the heavens. What can you do? They are deeper than Sheol. What can you know? Job 11:8. I'm like, bloody hell, that's like talking about this hourglass. They are higher than the heavens in another realm, another level. What can you do? They are deeper than Sheol. What can you know? Yeah. You can see I'm still Like, whoa, the coincidence of that, if you believe in coincidences, from that shocked me. So I'm like, yeah, you know, in ancient times, they used to read things from from right to left. So verse 11:8 will become 8:11. What would that reveal? But before that, because I missed something out, I just Googled and put in verse 11:8, guys, and you can see on the first top line, both of them verses appeared. I've not gone looking for it. I've not gone looking for other ones, because that's just made me go, whoa. You can see top search, verse 11:8. So let's get back to this. What is verse 8:11? Again, top search was one of this. Revelation 8:10, 8:11. And third angel sounded, these trumpets that I was talking about, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it was a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of the waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. I'm going to swear, fucking hell. So we're talking about being in Sheol, land of the dead, and me making that meta symbol into Leviathan led to this. And this is like when you go on a journey researching, I have to show what I find. Is it connected to what I've said? It looks like the hourglass. It looks like a number 11 at the side. Hell and heaven above and so below. And this is what I've got. I don't know what to make of it. I'm still lost for words. So I'm going to carry on because I've broken things down a little bit more and revealed different things. I don't want to share that with you. So guys, picture this. You're out there chilling with the missus, or you're out hunting. The scene like it is on the screen. And you see the squat man, the hourglass. This idiot I'm talking about. You see it up in the heavens. Now, you have to make a decision. Do you run? Do you stay in awe? What the hell is going on? So that moment you make a decision is known as the 11th hour. It's the latest, last possible moment before the shit hits the fan. So have a look at the symbol again that I've been showing you in the meta and that. Again, isn't the hourglass a symbol for time? And what looks like an 11 at the side, it's telling you. So it's not just the Bible verses. I'm meditating and think, you know, the 11th hour, the last possible moment, if the shit hits the fan, you have to make a decision. And it's funny that they name it the 11th hour. So you've just saw me breaking down meteor and all the wows that went with that and meta, etc, etc. But I wanted to carry on. I wanted to have a look at the word meteorite. And you know, meteorite is a solid piece of debris. That's what they say. Like a firmament, like the rock in the heavens, that the ceiling. So I wanted to have a look at meteorite and see if I can see anything different. And then meta, you know, give yourselves some more options. But it was again a wow as well. So if you're not unsure, have you heard of the Mandela effect? And they say just the Mandela effect, and they shorten it to ME, don't they? The ME effect. Well, years ago, I found this as a possible reason for the Mandela effect, because it basically is the Mandela effect. But we're talking about meteor right now. So ME is the Sumerian word. It's basically pronounced May, but it's written as me. But it's pronounced May or Mays, which refers to the fundamental divine decrees or powers that are the foundation. It's like we're in a cave underneath holding it up. The foundation of the Sumerian civilization and the cosmic order. Significant, right? The Me are a comprehensive assortment of social institutions, religious practices, technologies, behaviours and the human conditions that make civilized life possible, as understood by the Sumerians. They are considered gifts from the gods to humanity and range from from concrete things like musical instruments, basket weaving, abstract concepts like truth, heroship, victory, even negative aspects like falsehood, lies, and enmity. So you can just see, wow. So in Sumerian mythology, the me was originally collected by the chief god Enlil and entrusted to Enki, the god of wisdom and water, who meant to distribute them to the various Sumerian cities. So if you had more of these me's, your town prospered. And what's intriguing about this is if we just carry on. So it was meant to distribute them to various Sumerian cities. The well-known myth, Inanna and Enki, tell a story of how the goddess Inanna travels to Enki's city of Eridu, gets him drunk and makes off with over 90 maize, which she then successfully delivered to her own city of Uruk, thus transferring power and the foundations of civilization to her cult centre. The me were not merely codes of conduct, but were considered the bedrock of culture, separating wild beasts from cultured people, and are essential for maintaining harmony and order in the universe. So you can see, wow. So if you look at meteor like that, you're talking about gifts from God, the powers, and so on. I get excited, and I'm trying not to speed up my basically audio on this because I'm getting so excited. So I've done ME, and if we look at TO, meteorite, so TEO, but I'm just using this TEOS because it's basically the same. The etymology of Teo or Theos primarily derives from the ancient Greek meaning gift of God, from Theos, God, and Doron, gift, and also refers to an ancient Ionian Greek city located in modern-day Turkey. The name's meaning reflects its association with religious or historical significance, making it a powerful and timeless option. So you can say Theos, Theo, the Greek word for God or divine. So you have God's gifts, God in meteorite, and what's right? Early 14th century formal act or procedure of religious observance. So that intrigued me, that word observance. What does it mean? Observant comes from the Old French observance and directly from the Latin observantia, meaning attention, regard, or adherence. Like we were just talking about the MEs, you had to adhere to the rules, which in itself is derived from observer, to watch over, guard, or heed. Wow. So meteorite is throwing up even more wows. The gifts of the God, the watchers. So just where are we living? Where words broken down can reveal so many wows.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Welcome back. It's a lovely, sunny but brisk cold day, and the sun is lighting up my room like a crystal. So I apologise for the light. I didn't want to shut the curtains. It's just so lovely out. You know, the sun keeps you warm. So welcome back. And what can I say? Like Columbo, I make my videos and it's just like one more thing I have to add it. So I do apologise for like bombarding you sometimes with too much information out this crazy head, but that's just how my brain works. Sometimes it's back to front. I know the answers and then I ask myself the questions. So this is why my videos take a weird form sometimes. It's just how I work. I have to get it out. It's how I remember what's what, but I still got pads and notes and things like that in front of me to remind me of what I'm going to talk about because I don't know myself. Just one more thing. So I was making like an audio book for you guys of a book I mentioned 5, 6, 7 weeks ago. And do you know when you're working, you're doing it, I'm halfway through it, you get bombarded through different things of, hey, this, hey that, and then the news is this, the news is that. Have you saw the Atlas comet? And people are talking, some of it are talking about how it's an alien vessel and so on. So I'm like, I use these things as a sign. I always have. And I generally go with my gut, the feeling that I have inside. And it was telling me to drop what you're doing and focus on that. So that was the inspiration, the comet and Atlas, because I was like, why are they calling it Atlas? Because Atlas holds up the heavens. So in theory, because the comet was in the heavens, the space, that's why they've called it. But to me, in this head, it's like, well, we're in a cave within a cave. And I'm like, yeah, that's why they call it heavens, because it's just supporting the roof. And if you've watched my old videos, you'll see that NASA, and people always talk about it being Hebrew to deceive, etc. But I look at things differently. I always have. And that's why sometimes things don't take on, because it's just my own thought at the time. And people want to go with the flow or what the masses are saying. But when you find out that NASA means like a basket, a snare, a trap, like the Star Wars, it's a trap. So these things take my attention. So it means a trap, a snare, a basket, a chamber, a room. And then when you take that, the etymology even further back, it comes from like caveat and things in regard to cave. So you're like, wow. And they're all in my old videos. So if you're wondering why I didn't put it in, I did want to put two loading and this. So just go to my Caveman Theory playlist and play in the video Celestial, when I broken down, talking about this place being a cellar, a chamber, a room. And automatically when you're thinking these things, you're like, oh, Sheol, Hades, things like this, being entrapped, being imprisoned. So that's the fascinating thing, the fallen angels. Because they all take on the same type of story, don't they? It's like they're trying to impregnate you with a thought. And I'm not like the community of sorts. It's like, this has been accepted. We're not allowed to discuss any other possibilities. I've never been like that. When I look at something, I see something different, I'll say. But it's not like triggering thing. It's not where, oh, well, I have to be right and you are wrong. No, I'm just want to give something back. Give more stuff that will stick to people's minds. Hey, it doesn't have to be this. It's okay. There you go. It's okay to be different. I saw that one as well. Danger, dad farts. So that is not me though. Oh, he winked. Remason. You know what they're like. So that's all the things that people get paranoid too much. You owe me more. What you see is what you get than me. When I'm happy, I'm happy. When I'm sad, I'm sad. I never can hide that type of thing. I'm just like most of you guys. So that was like the inspiration. So I was making another video. I've not scrapped it. It's just saved, and I'll carry on that after I make this. But something was telling me, Paul, look at this, Atlas. And then I'm like, damn. So all them things I've just mentioned made me want to go dig deeper. Tongue-tied. I've been a lot in that. It's so crazy when you got so much on your mind that you want to get it out, and you're like, people want to think I'm nuts. But I if you've just joined the channel, well, there is the odd few sometimes. It's like every video I lose countless subs. It's like, I may do something wrong. I know I'm making one video a month, something, but you can see I still put a lot into them. And it's just mad. So to those new ones, I might sound crazy. It's not. I just treat everything as information. So if I find it this source and it says that, even though people would laugh and go, it's still information. People have put that out in the spell for you to look at. So everything is information. That's how I treat it. So I don't like have a direct, oh, well, it's got to be this, it has to be this because that says it, and I'm taking that as fact. No. And it'll change my mind. Tomorrow I could feel something different when someone shows me something, because I just like people to inspire me, and I've made a lot of videos like that. So when I was inspired to make this, I went to town, and when I started looking at it more, an atlas holding up the heavens, I saw the pattern of the squatter man. And that went from there. So how can you not do it like that? Just be so random that things make sense. And that's just me down to a T. To me, it makes sense. You know, Occam's razor, you know, simplest answer is generally, you know, the more correct one, no matter how crazy it seems. And when we put in everyone's theories over the eons and on resets, it's mad. Because people are looking at them, itch me nose and give it a good pick, yeah, because you do that on camera. So people are talking about a plasmaric type of event. So in the ancients, people, you know, were out chilling with the missus or out on a hunting party, you know, but just chilling, or getting food. And because we you know, rough day on it. So they're out there and you see this big thing in the sky. You're God, got itchy nose. Why do I get itchy nose every time I film? So I'm assuming when you see something like that, you either have a fight or flight reflex. Some people take it as doom. Some people like, you know, they're the ones that are carved into rocks. But around this realm, people painted the same thing. So you have to think, well, if they're painting it in the Americas, they're painting it in South America, they're painting it in the Middle East, they're painting it everywhere, Africa. They all saw something jointly in the sky. Surely you have to think, well, there could be something to it. So you either think that, oh, there's something to it, or you're like, whoever is in charge at that time, or still the controlling parties, advance rate, whatever you want to say, they were trying to put the narrative of the squatter man out there. And Anthony Peratt did work with plasma, and you know, all these experiments, he found a pattern that matched, squatter man. And what's interesting about squatter man, that hands up, is a position that women used to give birth like. It's also rejoice, praising God, but also squatting. They used to give birth, and that video is on the playlist, but just another brick on the wall type of thing. So they used to squat and give birth on bricks. Squatter man. And that just got me. Oh, it's also the etymology, like that, of the letter E. So you can see it, can't you? The two sides and my head, basically the E. E Elohim. So they rejoice. You see why everything connects. That's an intriguing thing as well, also to look at. So that's happened in the sky. People are either going to dive for cover, you know, like preppers. They've been waiting for something to happen because they see this thing in the sky. So people have been saying it's a plasma event because obviously Peratt then did them images to match. It's a good enough reason. God, itchy nose again. Good enough reason to think that. But I'm not one to take that, because videos I've made in the past called the voice of God, the vocal cords, and that's what vocal means. Vok means voice. Elohim, voice of God. Vocal cords, it's there in the spell. And the larynx, the voice box, has that symbol in it. So did the creator command the destruction in a reset? That is, you know, it's all down to your interpretation, your thoughts at the time. And I'm thinking, well, if that matches that, How wow is that? And also in the video, if you want, I think it's called The Secret. I think it is. I think I've made that many videos. Also, people talk about the 369. That's also in there. So when Tesla, whether you think it's genuine or not, they're trying to put an agenda out there saying 369 is the key to the universe. Key? Sound. And there's a 369 on the pyramid, which is also a sign for the Elohim. Wow. Why is no one else talking about that? Because yours truly did it. I wouldn't. So those are intriguing things. You can see the connection. And you also have twin foldings of 3 vocal cords. 3, 3. Wow. 3 is 3 11s, but also a number that signifies high-ranking Freemasonry. And I don't know if it's in the previous video, I talk about there is a cave level. And it's like, wow. So why do we have to have a set answer? It's a plasmic event. It basically wiped people out. Voice of God. All the Pandora's box and all the things connected. Also, let me just do it on my pad on the fly, so you can see how how I work. Let's put that 3 3 together. Dong dong dong. It's coming. 3 3 together. Oh, that must be a coincidence. It looks like an hourglass to me, or the infinity. That's just a coinkydink. See where I get it? Now, these could be just symbolism. It could be how I interact and project information. We see patterns. We all see patterns, but we all see different patterns. And that's what I saw in the Scudderman, the vocal cords, that position. So it could have been spoke, but it says that in Genesis he spoke and created the world. If he can create the world, he can destroy the world. And that is how I got my head around it. And in the original video that I did called Tempus Fugit, and it's so funny when you're making videos and you're using your voice to text, Tempus Fugit, come up Tempus Fuji. Like, I can't change it neither. So that's just, even the computer can't recognise me talking. And so, yeah, that came into the head. So you got Tempus Fugit, time flies. A symbol that has been lost in the sense of it doesn't get used, but it was the important symbol to Masonry. And also in regard to people, because time flies, we only have a set amount of time in this realm. And when ours is turned over and the sands of time, the grains, us, flow, that's how long you've got. So, what if all these things match? Is that the pareidolia of my mind, the patterns? You have to say yes, but also you have to say there could be something to it, because other people in ancient times or last week or in the future this is how they work. So when you see an old verse out of the Bible, someone back in the day wrote that and they're trying to project that message. So when you get in Parat doing the plasma symbol, it connects into the voice of God, but the hourglass symbol, you even look at women, the so-called perfect shape of a woman is a what? What, Paul? An hourglass. So that's signifying perfection. Oh, but that's just a coincidence. I know people, Paul, don't say it, there's no such thing. But, it's just, we've been ingrained for us to sometimes say, could it be a coincidence? So that's just how my mind works. So when you see all these things together, it inspired me. And obviously the newest theory I had for the last 2 years or so has been this cave theory. Yes, it's just basically another word for hollow earth, but when you say to people, oh, hollow earth, and they say, oh, we just live behind the ground, it's just hollow and that's it. I like to go a little bit more and think of hollow earth within a hollow earth within a hollow earth, and it's just level, because we're talking about the Norse have, is it Midgard or Midgard? You know, and they have the tree, Idrisil, the tree, and its roots. What shape? Oh, Paul, that's just a coincidence. Again, an hourglass. So are we in an hourglass? That's how my brain works anyway. Are we in the hourglass? And I think we're not in an hourglass. And we're not a reset loading. Remember that on the old computers, loading, it used to turn. So reset loading, that's why I've called it that, because it's an hourglass. And, you know, could we have a set specific time for a reset to happen, and that basically we fall down. So if you picture each of us on a, like that, and then one of these resets happen and we've done, and then and it goes above. That's why we find like full streets and cities and stuff just under the ground. I mean, many years ago, I can't remember the name they give for it. They found a complete hidden continent under Europe. I talked about it briefly, but you can see things like this happen. So I lost my train of thought then. So we're talking about it, obviously Nordic have so X amount of realms. So if these, and they're connected by basically the rainbow, the Bifrost or Bifrost. Bifrost, it looks like, it's a sound crystal, doesn't it? Or is that just my meaning from, well, they call it rainbow, but from the films. And could that just be a portal, a gateway, or a tunnel to another realm? You know, and, you know, we're in this hollow earth, a cave within a cave, 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 just on different levels. And when a reset happens, we just go down and we start anew. Bit like, if we remember, oh, what was it called? Westworld. So these things matter to someone out there. So I saw this pattern and I thought, hey, they're talking about a plasmic event. It looks like the voice of God. The power of the vocal cords creates cymatics, sound to hit a medium. And the medium saw the voice box, the larynx. Wow. Just wow. To me. And I get so excited. I get lost in a train of thought. And I hope you just appreciate me being me, showing you, hey, look at this crazy guy and what he's coming up with. So, we're just briefly talking about that. And if you think about it, Hollow Earth people and that's been going on forever. Jules Verne and so on and so on. And a hint to something I'm talking about in my audiobook. So, do you want me? Yeah, you know what? I'll show you. So I'm going to read this out and also just give you my opinion on certain things. So what I will be doing is this. Now, I'm not going to go into town, whether you believe it or not. It's a story, it's fiction. I'm just reading a book out, giving my thoughts at the time on what it's saying. So that's what's coming next. It should have been coming now, but hey, I was zoned in. So we've always had talk about things underground, and videos have showed you, could Eden be in a cave? Because the cave would have just... So that's why, you know, and even people in power, build domes. You know, there's ancients building tunnel systems that you've never believed. And it just paints the picture of a different realm. And like Aztecs and Mayans used to go deep down into caves because that was the connection to the underworld. A portal, a doorway, a gateway. And it just makes sense. So this is how my brain was working. My brain was working, thinking, well, yeah, Paul, you told we were in a cave. How would that fit? Hourglass. Now, is that the reflection of the firmament of the complete shape, or is it just the focal? Because there were so many theories, and I'm not set on one. That's the beauty of how I just work. You guys are going to come up with some brilliant comments. And I'm like, why didn't you think of that? Because that's what we need. We need each other to help each other. And people are not helping each other because it's my theory. It's mine. I came up with it. And it's like, a lot of times, did we actually come up with it? Or is it people in our lives connecting, giving us tidbits? And in your head, you came up with it, because it does happen. So piece everything together and you have a aha moment. And these are one of the things. So we all help each other. And that's what I love, helping each other. And if I remember that, I will say, yes, I got this inspired me. So that plasmic event could be the vocal cords or the shape of this realm. So then when you look at the spelling of plasma, they talk about form, mold. A mold, you're molding something, encase it. Molding, and the one that made me go, wow, modulation of the voice. So even in the breakdown of plasma, it mentions virus. Like, so that was like, wow. And I made that many moons ago. And it also means vessel. A vessel, like an hourglass, something in case, holding liquids, holding things. And if you think about it, some people, and I don't get triggered. I know some people, I know people get triggered if you mention Earth or things, space. Oh, it's not this, and the globe. It's globe, it's flat, it's this, it's this. A theory of being in a cave, in a chamber, fits every theory. Think about it when, even if you don't believe it happened or it did, when Picard, I can't remember his first name, but I know Jean-Luc Picard was named after him. He went up in the balloon and he saw, from his perspective, if it's true, I don't know, wasn't there. It's information. We use information. He said he saw upturned edges. And then that's when you had people talking about concave. And then you had people in the flat earth going at each other. And then both of them were like mocking each other. Oh, it's a donut. Just like a plasma. So yes, can you say, when you're mocking people, you're telling them the shape. The donut, the plasma shape. And that is why when you're using the ESA images, again, have they retracted that information, or were they showing you actually from the Satelloons what is there? There was a hole at the centre, hollow earth. So you had everyone's theory. If you put all them together and give them a poll video, and you showed the donut with the hole in, think about it, an hourglass. What shape does it take when you turn it over? The poles flip. The sands converge and go down. And I'm like, no fucking way. So if you just want to tell us information, it's lies, but it's fitting what I was coming up with. It makes that shape. So if they have a hole there, that's where things fall into. So again, these things have been going forever and ever and ever. So when you put them all together, you start, if you say banging or something, I can't, people are doing. I'll let you into secret, it is the weekend. So people like to, DIY. It was just so funny. I'm making a video, I'm hearing people doing this. My daughters are texting, and it's like, did you just know I'm sitting down to do this? It's, even on vibrate, it's loud. So these things make, so if it, plasma, vessel, mold, modulation of the voice, vessel, and then you show them the essay images, they match. And I'm like, we saw these for years. So when you put them together, it makes more sense. And I'm just like, I cannot believe that. So when you sat then looking and breaking the word meteorite down, I did it so many ways. You can do me, T-O, right. Meteor, me, T-O. Or you can basically just do met and things like this. So there's so many different etymologies, and the odd ones I didn't put in but just still mentioned because, you have to do some work, surely. And again, never take what I say as fact. It's just my information on how I see things. And that's what people get triggered about. They say, well, it doesn't to me. I've not found it. I see this place. I see this place. I see this information like that. You see information like this. And sometimes we have to try and come together somewhere and agree to disagree, or agree on something in the middle. So that's what I was talking about in the old video, Tempest Fuji. Are we in an hourglass? And are we at the neck on a flat plane? Oh. And a reset happens, the poles shift, the glass turns, and levels just go, again, sounds crazy, but there's no crazy as people saying it's flat, concave, convex, just a donut, crater Earth, crater Moon. So when you hear people doing these theories and pointing you to channels, point to mine as well. Why not? Because, crater Earth, this fits everything. So why is not being talked about? Because there's been a stigma put on flat, there's been a stigma put on concave, there's been a stigma to put on there, and people don't like to join. Gatekeepers in each community keep you apart. I've had friends that believe in different methods. They don't get triggered when they see my stuff because they know how I work, they know I am. But you do get people butting heads because you will defend what you believe to be true. The truth. Again, don't want to go into too much on this because I've done videos on it, but if you knew, the etymology of truth means faith. You have confidence. It's a Roman goddess. I'm just trying to I can't remember, but I swear I saw something in regard to an hourglass there as well, but I can't remember off my head. So that is why you get defended the truth, because someone that's attacking your truth is attacking your faith. And with religion and politics, when something you believe in so, with so much passion, you will defend. And then there's some of us who like to take a step back and can see both angles. There's so many different variations of us, and we should appreciate that difference. So when you're looking at the words, and I'm going to say a few. I've got things written down of just meteorites and different things. So I will give you that. So you have the boundary of the dead. So if, people many times have said we're living in purgatory, we're living in hell, we're in Sheol. So there's so many different descriptions, but the boundary of the dead would make sense. That's the boundary. That's the limit. And it's funny when I do my Janus research and see a connection with Janus and Terminus, and then someone says, oh, well, I've typed into Google, it says it's not. You just have to look. There's years and years and years of other people saying, yes, they are one and the same. They're both boundaries, transitions. Something happens in this realm. Hourglass turns. Is that not a transition of that to that? That's why Janus is the janitor of this realm, the god, the chief god. They pray to him first. Just makes more sense. You had the food of the dead. You had the boundary of the dead is up and out. Do you know? So it's talking about a boundary, a surrounding. You then look at it and go to watch over or guard the dead or the gifts of God. And that then gets you into Hades, Tartarus, the Titans, the angels that were, basically expelled out of heaven. So they were expelled. Did they go down? We always assume heaven is down because that's what we're taught. But it's just another cave. It's just another level. We're always taught that hell is underneath. Why can't it be on top? Why can't we be in it? So these were guarded in Tartarus is like a hell. And then you look other etymologies that I did on plasma. The room, house of thy mother, the master's room or house, a room, a chamber, a cave. How is it bloody? How can you do these? That word connects to that connects to that connects to that. And it's like that conspiracy board. It's going and connecting because everything connects somehow. We have just got to find that cord, that thread that matches. That's the beauty of what I do and what you do. You just thread it differently. It goes through a different place. But we can get to the end and we can agree on something. So everything is fitting. So we're talking about to watch over the dead gods. Wow. And remember that verse, I can't remember off by hand, but God talks about having a divine council. He, from that passage, talks about he put other gods, Elohim, collection of gods. He put other Els in charge of earth and this place, this realm. So could he have put, right, you're in charge there, you're in charge there, you're in charge there? Could it be basically just the one realm and the just districts, or are the other realms? And then you talk about plasma, electric, an old video that I did on that. Electric, because A is always interchangeable with E. So electric or trick. So AL will turn into EL. So I broke down the word electrical. Sorry about me, Jim. So it meant the jurisdiction of L. Electric. Gods are electric. So I've done them videos. So if you're talking about, sorry about that. I just have to itchy. I can't sit there and I have to go. I'm in my own house, my room, so I'm going to pick it, my nose, I'm going to scratch it, I'm going to itch, I'm going to do what I want. Because I can. So, we have the electric meaning the jurisdiction of El. God talks about having a divine council and putting Els in charge. And then they didn't do good enough for him. So he replaced them. Is this where they got rid of the giants? They came into the daughters of men. Oh, but Paul, that could just be stature. But every civilization has talked about giants. So this just makes so much bloody sense. We've also got in that plasma and different things talking about rendered. As an etymology. Rendered means to give back, surrender. Well, didn't you just say, God put them in charge and then took that power, they surrendered? Oh, but that connects too. Oh. This is why I get excited, because I can see all these things. That's why when I look back at old videos, and I'm talking about Tempest Fuji, I'm talking about Dante's basically paradise, and obviously Inferno and of hell, and it goes like that. And then it has the realm of Lucifer underneath in blue, because that blue was associated with Lucifer. But blue etymology also is white. So could that be Hades, hell, purgatory, all those above, or the realm that we're in? And I thought, well, they always talk about evil. And evil for an old world, well, the etymology of the letter D, pardon me, is delet or deleth, means door. When evil comes to you, evil is at your door, becomes devil. Letter D, delet, the door, evil comes to your door, they meet, and you get the devil. So when the devil is at your door, that is how I see this place. So frequencies, ley lines. Well, what's ley lines? But ley lines means lie. What they're lying, or is it lying? Remember, we die each night, and we resurrect in the morning. We rise. So this just makes more sense. We have gods and things like this. Talks about houses, chambers. Are we in a burial chamber? So it's just awe-inspiring to me, seeing these things and connecting them and putting them in the video for you guys to laugh at or love it. Whatever you see fit, to get you to sleep. I don't know, but it's all good fun. You then look at the essence, because when I was looking into this, I didn't put it in, but I don't know why I didn't put it in. Because when we talk about us being dead, and it talks, you know, a passage which I can't remember that I put in it, I think. I know I might have put that. It talks about the soul going to a place of rest to wait trial. Is that what's happened? Or are we just on not trial? Do you know when young people go out and they have to experience the world to become a better person? Is that just what we have here? Anyway, so back to it. I was looking at the word soul. So you have S-O-U-L, soul. But soul was also spelled S-O-U-L-E. L. Dun, dun, dun. So, if you just take off the L-E and leave sow, it can be many things, but also out there, if you find it, it's up to you. Sow comes from the French sol. Sol. And sol is in Latin, means sun. So could possibly soul be son of God? You see why I get excited? So then when we're checking all this stuff out and we're looking at this realm, got me to one of the bit that, honestly, it really shook me up. I was not like in a bad way, but I just could not believe it. So in my old video, and we're talking about the hourglass and this realm being in an hourglass, whether at the neck or in a different level. So we're in a cave, a chamber, and the bottom bit could be the chamber below. Could we just be in what is, remember, if I just add to that 33, it could just be like that. That is also like the DNA helix. You know, so that's intriguing. I just had an epiphany on something else. Well, I think it went. I'll see if I can get it back. I'll see. You know, so we're talking about this. So when I know I was going to, I don't know how it was connecting, and because that just got me going, I'm thinking of something else. So obviously we talked the boundaries, like Terminus, the Roman god, which is Janus. The boundaries, we all have boundaries. Could that just be a different place? So in my other videos, I've talked about how could the ceiling have just fell in after one of these resets, or an earthquake. Just funny that we have earthquakes, shaking, and then that vibration from the frequency turns the ground to liquid and things sink. That's why I put that in, to show you about the hourglass. And sand volcanoes or sand boils look identical to bigger volcanoes. And you're like, yeah. And people all the time will show you a video and go, look at this, guys. This looks identical to that. That means it must be. It must be. I said it must be. So, how? If that matches and looks, when I show you this, it means I'm right, doesn't it? It focuses, cameras, stay still, Paul. So, when we were doing that video and dances and different things, when I was making the video, I was talking about Meta, obviously, the dead, Facebook going to Meta, and the hoopla behind all that. And in that video that I included, it's not the full video, but it's a little bit, I talk about the symbol. If I mirror the Facebook, the F, and mirror it, it looks like a key. But if you put that then onto the Meta symbol, you get the Leviathan's cross. The same cross symbol that's used for sulphur and brimstone and the infernal fire of the soul. Oh, well, that connects. So you can see how I just love it. And I made that years ago. And just as I was getting little bits to clip into these videos, I'm like, you know, you turn your head sometimes when you're looking into something. So I turn my head and I'm like, damn. Because that's what I was doing in the video. I was turning it to show you how the infinity goes on forever. It's like an hourglass. Turn, 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 levels. And I just lose train of thoughts. I'm just going on other things in my head. So you're stuck with me. I'm like, I turned it aside and I thought, I cannot believe it. So the Leviathan's cross, obviously, that's just my writing. So you can see the Leviathan's cross there, and you turn it on the side, it looks like a key. What do keys work on? Oh, doors, a boundary. But who's the God of gods? Deus Deum. Deus, Deorum. They pray to him first because he connects everything. He's to transition. And he's got his realm and he's got the doors. Janitors, the word janitor is named after him. Tor means door in German. It's key. And it's also the Leviathan cross. But on the side, it looks like 11:8. And that, do you know when you just get, like you just, you know, like that film Limitless. So you just have that and everything just comes together. That just comes together for me. So the 11:8, I thought 11:8, straight away it's a Bible verse. So what did that Bible, and I'm looking down because I'm going to read, because I want to keep the word for word and not just basically briefly, talk about it. So 2 verses stuck out to me, and there will be more because people will be putting them in the chat. I just like to make it simple and use the first ones that came to me without even searching. They were on the top bar, because when we look for something, it means something to you. This meant something to me. So, like I said to you, something made me say, Paul, just leave that video for now and go on to this. And that is why the Leviathan's cross is symbol for Satan. Yes, it was taken from, I can't remember his name now, the Church of Satan and so on. But they're putting that information out there. So it was by faith that Abraham, if you look at my Genoa videos where I found Janice for the first time, he talks about how he's related, was also a giant. So it was by faith that Abraham obeyed when God called him to leave home and go to another land. Hebrews 11:8. So God has said to Abraham, "Hey, Abraham, get your gear, you're off." Now, did he do that? I don't know the Bible inside out. I don't. So I'm surmising myself in my head. Did he know something was coming? Because people always talk about the Great Flood and the Ark. But to me, there's always been resets because it's just about a cycle, cleaning house, basically. Whether that's a natural thing to keep things fresh or we've sinned that I talked about in the video. So, to me, he's saying, hey, move, go to the... Did he just go to another cave? Like the King Kong videos and Godzilla, now you're seeing him basically going through portals to another place. Because all these things talk about portals everywhere and going through caves on a journey. So it was by faith that Abraham obeyed when God called to him, get your gear, leave home and go to another land. Did he just go to another level? Hebrews 11:8. So straight away, third from that, was another verse. And it says, I'm planning in my head, guys, that's why I look like I'm thinking. So, they are higher than the heavens. I didn't know there was anything above the heavens. Levels, caves, chambers, rooms, houses. They are higher than the heavens. What can you do? They are deeper than Sheol. What do you know? So then we're getting that picture in our head of heaven and hell being above and below. But they're talking about another room above the heavens, the celestial, the roof. They're above it. Job 11:8. So many years ago, and I included it in the video before this because it's just part of my series called The Realm of Evan. El, Elohim, chamber, room. Each El had a room. 11. El, even. And in one of the videos from that series, I looked at the letter H because we're told heaven and hell have gates and doors. The letter H. Picture in your mind's eye is that. To me, that looks like a door. I'll put it in the video. It looks like a door. So there's the door. Door handle. What are you left with? Hell. L. Okay, Paul. Let's go to heaven. The door. The H. Take the H off. You're left with heaven. Put hell, L and heaven together. You get 11. Wow, and that was another moment I had. So this 11 is significant. They talk about in science, and I've done loads of videos on it. Because I see the 11. We all see different numbers. So, the fine constant structure is supposedly everything in the universe. Everything. That number is 173. What was that? Oh, yes. An 11. And people say, oh, we can't do this. 11 represents disco. Oh, so 11 represents the doorposts. And when I'm looking at this video, and that's why the Leviathan cross does look like a key, but also looks like everything that's connecting sulfur, the brimstone, the hourglass turned up, 11, 8. And then remember, I thought, well, I'll just look at it backwards. So it's then 8, 11. And then it comes to that wormwood falling from the heavens. Wow. You know, and when you look at other videos that I talk about how the ground, the dirt, is the level, the home of the devil, the serpent. That's why the ground is. I've showed you that in videos, especially if you saw the Pope's exorcist, when he meets not the first time, when he's visiting the Pope, they talk about this, the devil having the ground. So it just levels. So then you had the wormwood bit, and that's backwards. And it's like, whoa, how does everything connect if I'm not meant to find it? So, bloody hell, 51 minutes in. I'll have to hurry up. So, look at how I'm going to do it. Should I talk about it, or should I write it down? I'll write it down. And then it shows you, it does look good that way. Not my writing though, it's rubbish. So the verses I used were 11, 8. And you remember, so I'll show you. 11, 8. And then what I'll do is I'll put 11, 8 down below. 11, 8. See? 11, 8. And I've talked about, are we in the neck of the hourglass? So remember, this is on the side. So let me just put our level. Because even Eden for the Sumerians, etymology means level, flat. So, and that's in a cave. So if I just put our level through that, what do we get? Let me turn it on its side, Paul. Oh, shitaroo. The Leviathan's cross. And remember, well, I don't remember. Remember in texts, it talks about how God created the Leviathan first, before man. And we've talked about other things, even a few videos ago, about them two gods in charge of the water and the fountains and that, and how the chaos was a symbol, for the waters, serpent. So we have that. So guys, add those numbers together, but we'll do it. I'll show you. So what I'll do is I'll just put a line in between. So 11, 8. So 11. So 1, add 1 is 2. Add 8 equals 10. There, I've passed. You can see 1 add 1. 1 add 1 add 8 is 10. So we're talking about this realm being as above, so below. We'll do the same. So if we do the same, and them two verses that caught my eye, right? So 10, add 10. 20. Pardon me. But in maths and numerology, the naught is nigh. Scratched out. That leaves 1. You know what I'm going, don't you? 1 plus 1 is the doorway, is the gateway, is 11. That's a stretch, that, Paul. Okay. How about this? I'll just write it down. Those 2 Bible verses that I use, and I'll show you why everything bloody connects when I see it. 11.8, 11.8. I'll add them both together. (11.8) verse 11, verse 8. 11.8, 11.8. The 2 verses what I'm talking about. Talking about heavens, talking about below. Let's add those together. So if you add 11.8, add 11.8. I did it in my calculator, and this is what I was given. $23.6. Right, guys. So, 23.6. $23.6. 2 had 3. Yep, 5. 5 had 6. Do. 11. I'll wait. Tell me. Go on. People laugh at me. I've connected two things and connected my theory on a cave within a cave, the hourglass. And the bang slang both there. You can see why I got the chilliroos, why I got excited, while I feel, honestly, this is not just me being spiritual. When I am doing this, I feel connected to the creator. I get emotional. I cry. When I have these moments, I cry. Because I'm like, have I been shown this for a reason? No, it doesn't mean a grand scheme of helping everyone in the world. No, for me, it's a part of my journey. And we should embrace those moments. So, go back. Fight or flight reflex to the big bloody docking thing. It's in the sky. You're either going to embrace or you're going to go. You're going to fart yourself, you're going to shit yourself, and you're going to a cave. But in your head, you have to make a decision. Fight or flight. You know, it's like, oh, look at intro, you know. But when's the last possible moment you have to make a decision before something happens? It's called the 11th hour. And what is one of the revered things in this realm? The cross. And I've showed you in the videos, that was hidden in plain sight. So, how is everything connected? And then you look at all the images, a toroidal field, a torus field, the vortex, all that shit, and I mean, you know, good shit, fits the hourglass. Tempus fugit. Time flies. I've been super excited. I'm proud to put this together for you guys. Yes, you can think I'm start raving crazy, but it's not. I see information and I just show you the information. That's always how I've worked. It's always how I've worked. And I've always asked that other question. Just one more thing. That's me in a nutshell. Everything fits. From the plasma to the vortexes to the electromagnetic field of the heart to even them of this realm. Remember, rainbows. Got that song, A Rainbow, in my head now. You know, the children's programme. So, a rainbow, sun dogs and so on are not from me saying this, are showing you we're in an enclosed system. But everything is plasma. And all that is picturing the torus field. Torus field is a donut. So all these things are matching this realm. Have I got something to add to it? I think I have. Because it all connects. And that was a passage now. I can read my own writing. Remember when I said I don't know where I got there to think about the sheep? Sheep, the soul. A place of rest where departed souls await judgment. You know. Just intriguing. And now I'm going to leave you with the thought. I think that's all I have to say in the matter. We're in an hour and we've got an hour on the video. Is picture the hourglass of being a chamber, a geode, and that's why I showed you the geode while it was fresh in my head. So we're all in an enclosed system. And a reset happens, and the earthquakes create a vortex of basically the sand turn into liquid, and you go down. Old soils react differently, but wow. So that's why the hourglass, and are we at the neck and we just move down. So it does have to be a sense of an hourglass, but that seems to fit. Is that just God or the creator at that time, or the person put in charge? You know, if they're cleaning house because they were upset that the giants, basically, or the fallen angels and the Nephilim and things like that, needed wiping out. Let me just check something while I'm doing it. I apologise, but so there was something I was going to mention, but it's interpretation. Genesis 1:28 or 1:28. Oh yes, in 11. And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Fill. To me, that sounds like a chamber, a vessel. Fill it. But that wasn't what I was talking about. Let's have a look. So I'm just looking. Wow. So I want to show you now what I was looking at. I'm just going to do it now for you. Now, you don't have to believe the text, but you'll understand. So what came into my head when I was talking about that then was, okay, obviously that if you ask the question, how many people were saved with Noah, right? But obviously it wasn't, people were told it's just them people, but obviously if people had all these places and chambers to survive, but I'm just going off that. So the big story there was Noah said to, God said to Noah, come on, move, get in an arch, and go. 8 people. Hourglass. Instead of a mic drop. Notepad drop. Good job it didn't land on the keyboard. Shit! The video's gone! So there's the sort of thing. And you just witness that as I'm doing. That's how I do things. I'm researching, I'm putting it in, and then shit, I'm off. That's why my videos go like this. They go off in all directions. So 8 people were saved. The hourglass. And that can be various other symbols. But we associate time with an hourglass. So guys, I'm going to leave it there because we're at 1:05 and you're probably falling into sleep. But hopefully you were excited as me. Hopefully you saw the wows in this video. Hopefully I've presented it in a way that you can understand this crazy head. How I'm looking at this realm. Why? Because people always message you that, Paul, it's not, it's Creator Earth, because, is it Godj, or Godjavast, or whatever his name is? Pardon to the chap. But what I'm saying is, Creator Earth, flat Earth, concave, convex, donut, they all fit a cave. Because you can have so many things in a cave. It's in a cave, within a cave, and that's different, and that's different, and that's different. Cave within a cave, a chamber, a room. It fits the theory. All of them. But Picard went up in his balloon and it was flat. It had upturned edges. Why do you not say that? And that's why you got people believing in, again, I'm not being derogatory, believing in a hollow earth, or a concave. So, because a vessel, a chamber, a room. Remember the images when people go, oh, it's flat. Water what? Water always holds its level, and it's always in a container, a vessel. Oh, wait, Paul, but, where have you put it? Where have you put it? Where have you got it? I've got it somewhere. Where have you put it, Paul? Plasma, foam, mould, modulation of the voice, and vessel. So you can see, guys, I get excited and how everything is fitting into this method. This method is my madness. So, guys, if you want to help the channel, I do really appreciate if you would like the video and subscribe if you've not. There's shitloads of people who watch my videos and not subscribe, or YouTube does its thing and basically unsubs you. So can you please check that? It doesn't take you 2 seconds, and it helps for me to get about, because I believe this is something that people with better pattern recognition can make it into something even better. And if you please, that helps me. But if you want to go a bit more, because people always ask how can we help you even more, you can buy me a bar, which is buy me a coffee, which is just there on the screen. It's all appreciated. I just love you guys. Hopefully, you know, you're not being too mad at me by not making more and more videos, but for some reason I just needed to do one a month, or I just go with the flow. And I was doing one and it's made me go to this. So hopefully you've appreciated that. And I will see you next time. Bye guys, take care. Look after yourself. Bye.